to show you today how to make a pop-out star with a really beautiful, colorful background. And if you use certain supplies, you could even make it glow in the dark. But first, let's talk about how to make that pop-out star. You can begin with any sheet of paper. Copy paper works great, but we'll need to make it into a square. So go ahead, take the side, bring it down to the bottom, and fold, and then draw along that vertical line. Once you've opened the paper and cut along that line, you suddenly have a paper that's perfectly square. This is what we will be using to make our star. Bring the bottom to the top, match the edges up really well, and then fold. It's important to get those edges matched up. Look at the side of my rectangle. Find the middle of the side and put a little spot there. Now, take the bottom right, that was the right, of your rectangle, bring it to that spot, and fold. Now we're going to take this line at the bottom and bring it up to that diagonal line. Use your extra hand to hold the paper in place as you bend it up. I like to exercise the paper a little bit to get it to fold easily. It's important to make sure that that little spot is a nice point on the right. Now I'm going to take this side right here on the right, bring it all the way over to the left. Notice how I exercise my paper again so that I can easily bend it. Whew, good news is that's the last fold you have to make. In this corner, put a little spot with your pencil. There's a line segment here. Find the center of that line segment. Go down a little bit below the center and put a spot. Connect those two dots with a perfectly straight line and cut. Ooh, it's tricky. That's a lot of paper there. You can do it. Move that extra paper out of the way. Unfold, and would you take a look at that? I'm using Pekin paper that is fluorescent. And the reason I'm using this paper is because under black light, it glows. You could use regular copy paper, or you could get all fancy-nancy like me and use Pekin fluorescent paper too. Trace those creases with your marker so that you have all the sections of your star. Now we're going to make our star pop out by folding the long line up and the short line down. Long line is folded up and the short line is folded down. Continue this until you make your way all the way around the star. If you're looking for this specific kind of fluorescent paper, you can find a link to it in my bio on my Instagram page. Check it out. It's a 3D star. Now I'm going to be decorating each section of my star a little bit differently with a permanent marker. I'm using a Ticonderoga permanent marker. It's called Ready Sharp in case you're curious, but you could use anything you like. You don't have to decorate your star, but it might make it a little bit more interesting. And if you're doing it for Mother's Day, then you can include some of her favorites. Maybe draw pictures of her favorite food, maybe include a pattern or design of a heart, maybe write her name over and over again, creating a pattern in another section too. You're the artist. I'm sure you'll come up with something amazing. When you're finished decorating each section of your heart, then we're going to set it aside and work on the background. For that, you'll need to grab another sheet of paper and we will get a pencil so that we can trace this heart. I called it a heart. Y'all know I meant a star, right? Place it in the center of a piece of paper and using a pencil, trace around it. In case you're wondering what kind of snazzy pencil I'm using, it's a Ticonderoga and it's pretty sweet. When you're finished tracing, move it out of the way and then go ahead, grab your permanent marker and trace around your star. This is now where we get to get really creative and think about all the things that make our moms a star. You could also do this like a self-portrait. You could write all of the things that make you a star. You could make a whole series of these for everyone in your family. It's up to you, but now's the time to really stop and think in complete sentences, of course, what makes you, mom, or anybody else that you choose to write about special. Notice that as I'm writing, I'm trying to write in a straight line and I'm hopping over my star as I go because that's where my star will be glued in place. When I'm finished with that, I'm using the Creativity Street fluorescent tempera sticks. These are great. They go on just like a paint, almost like a glue stick, but they dry immediately. And because they're fluorescent, they glow under black light. Did you know that you can make a black light? All you have to do is take a piece of Scotch tape or any kind of clear tape, color it with a purple permanent marker, place that over the flashlight lens and turn it on. voila, you have a black light. I'm coloring around. Another way that I've done this, in case you don't have this art supply, you could use chalk, you could use crayons, you could even use markers. Artists use what they've got. Once you've got everything in place, now we can glue our star in the center. Because we want our star to pop out, I'm only placing glue at the ends of the star, and then I'm going to make sure to position it so that the star pops out, meaning I don't want to flatten it. If you're curious about where you can find any of these supplies, they're all by my friends Prang and Pagan. All of them are fluorescent and neon, which means they glow under black light. Have fun, guys.